Yo, what's up YouTube? It's me, Solar77, back with another video, and today I'm going to be going into the in-depth guide of important cells, weapons, and armor pieces you guys should be focusing on first. This is for all of my returning slayers and new slayers. If you're an experienced slayer, if you've been playing the game, you can disregard this entire video. And if there's anything I missed or you think something important that I should add to and do a remake of this video, please say below in the comments. Because I'm human and I'm not perfect. I make mistakes just like the rest of us. So, without doing any dilly-dallying, we're going to get right into the nitty-gritty of it. We're going to start with the weapons. So, if you are trying to level, no matter what weapon you use, the most important weapon to get, I would say, is the Malkarian weapon. The Malkarian weapons have a unique effect legendary ability, which allows you to teleport the behemoths, dealing massive shock damage to them. The best bond to use with this would be the Savit bond. It gives you a cell called Pulse. If you power surge it, it goes to +3 from +2. Its unique effect on your next swing or shot unleashes a boomerang, which deals decent shock damage and can allow you to shock proc behemoths. Very good for leveling. I would 10 out of 10 recommend this. The other route you can take is the Frost route. So, your Frost weapons. They have a unique effect that allows you to create a Frost Shield. This Frost Shield can interrupt behemoths, and as well as Frost proc behemoths. What it does when you Frost proc a behemoth is it causes them to move slower, and their animations are also slowed. The best weapon to use with this would be the Frostwolf's Bite, or any Frostwolf Bond weapon, because it gives you +3 Galvanize when you power surge it, which is very good. And it also gives you the unique effect of giving you shields. When you use your Lantern ability, you create a geyser that deals frost damage, and it also gives you shielding for you and allies when you walk through it. Very good for sustained survivability, and it does decent damage also. Now, if you are a sword player, the legendary Silver Sword is also a very good option if you are looking for damage. However, that is a story for another day. I will be covering the Silver Sword later this month. When I acquire it for myself, I will show you guys how to use the Silver Sword and builds that I think will go really well with it. Moving on. Armor. For all of my new players, the most important armor pieces from start to bottom. We're gonna go with helmets first. Get the Time Weave set. Please, if you do nothing else, go to Paradox Breaks, go near the Alira event. To the very left after you get on the bridge, there's going to be a little platform you can go under, and in the corner, you're going to see the Time Weave recipe. I would highly recommend getting this armor. Very good, very strong. If you are a Tempest user, this is your best friend. This helmet is very, very good. So, in order, Alira helmet, Time Weave helmet, Shroud helmet, and that's it. Those are the 3 most important helmets I would recommend you guys getting and power surging. Because most of the builds you are going to find and use are going to have these 3 built into them. Now, for my chest pieces, there are quite the amount of options, but there are only a few significant ones to mind. Again, Time Weave robes, Koshai chest piece, Rezakiri chest piece, Thrax's Shadow. That's it. Those are the only important ones you guys should focus on. Again, Time Weave robes, Koshai chest piece, Rezakiri chest piece, Thrax chest piece. Now, for gloves, there are a very select few gloves that you are ever going to really want, need, or have to use. But for my new slayers out there, the ones I would most importantly focus on getting would be Alira gloves, Time Weave gloves, Frostwolf gloves, Malkarian gloves, and the Torgadoro gloves. Those are the most important ones. So again, Torgadoro gloves, Malkarian's grasp, Time Weave gauntlets, Frost the Wolf claws, and the Spellbound gauntlets from Alira. Now, legs. Here are the most important leg pieces you need. And as you can see, I only have them, I have all of them Power Surge. You're going to want the Phalanx's Heat Sinks, the Chrono Treads from Chronivore, the Time Weave leggings, the Stride of Thorns from Koshai, the Thrax's Guile from Thrax, and that's it. You can Power Surge any other armor pieces you would like for different builds after that, but that is the most important armor pieces to focus and work on, by far. Now, I'm going to show you guys the Omnicells and the Omnicells I would recommend for my new Slayers, based on what you're comfortable with using. So, ignore this Omnicell. I know you'll see a lot of people with this Omnicell. My new Slayers, don't mess with it. It's very much glass cannon, very easy to learn, very hard to be good with. And it also requires you to do trials for 2 weeks in order to acquire it, so it's not something I would focus on. If you're looking for survivability, this one is your best friend. Followed up by Bastion. It does good damage at the cost of getting rid of your shields, which you don't really want to do if you think you're gonna die. But if you feel confident, by all means go for it. If you're looking for damage, for leveling, my Shock users, Malkarian users, look up. Revenant is your best friend. Revenant with Malkarian is very strong. Whether you use the Malkarian ability itself, or if you're just using the Savit weapon, this is very strong to pair with it. Very good source of damage here. Very strong. For my Alira users, this is the Omnicell I was referring to. This is Tempest. This is your best friend. You're going to want a lot of move speed so you can make this work. Make sure you guys invest heavily in this. So the four Omnicells I would invest in, you guys, are Bastion, Iceborne, Revenant, and Tempest. I would get these first. Revenant, for my Shock users, it will be tough to get. I won't lie to you, because it requires you to get Bloodshot Shroud. But if you come in and chat and say, hey, I need help getting Revenant, I'll be more than happy to help you. Just drop by the Twitch channel when we're live, and I'll get you guys situated with what you need. Alright. We got all the pleasantries out the way. Now it's time for me to show you guys the more important things. Cells. Cells. There are so many, but there are a very select few for each category that we are going to need, want, or use. And this is universal. There are very select cells that you're going to want for certain weapons, but we're not going to get into those right now because, again, those are based off of different weapons, and that is also personal preference. So, starting with our Fortitude cells. The most important cells for you guys to get. Parasitic, Tough, Guardian, and Conservation. If you think you're gonna die a lot, Aegis is also a very good option. So any of these 5 are good options to go for. Next up, Brutality cells. You can get Berserker in time. Don't focus it solely on Berserker. This comes from playing Trials. 1 week of Trials gets you 2 of these. The most important cells for you guys to get are going to be Sharpened for my Tempest users, and Overpower for everything else. Overpower is a very strong cell, early game, and mid game. And in the right situations, it can be very potent end game, but that's a story and a discussion for a later day. Alacrity cells. The most important alacrity cells, I would say, are Sprinter. This comes from Trials. Invigorated. Grace. Fleet-footed. These are your most important cells. Fleet-footed gives you movement speed when you dodge. Grace, sprinting gives you movement speed. Invigorated gives you movement speed when your stamina is low. Sprinter just increases your move speed and reduces sprint cost. Finesse cells. Oh boy, finesse cells. Guys, as you can see here in the corner, a lot of builds are going to have a lot of finesse cells, because that's where a lot of your damage is going to come from. That's where a lot of damage and crit focus cells are. So, these are the most important cells to get. Cunning, Fire, Galvanized, Predator, Pulse. That's it. So again, I will go through those again. Cunning, Fire, Galvanized, Predator, and Pulse. Those are the most important finesse cells that you guys are going to want to get first chance possible. Farm your Lyra cores, do whatever you must, but please do not miss out on getting those cores. Also, there is a new cell in the game that is also very potent and strong, called Impulse. That's this cell right here. Impulse is also very strong. If you're a Tempest user, this is your best friend. If you have your repeater reforges, this is your best friend. But I'll get into Impulse later. We'll come back to this cell right here, because it's very situational. Very broken though. I would recommend this cell along with the others. Alright, Insight cells. For my new Slayers, there are a few that you're going to want to use. Drop, Molten, Reuse, Omnisurge, and Cascade. Those are what I would have you guys focus on getting the most. You're going to see a lot of people give builds with Catalyst. If you're a new Slayer like me, please do not use Catalyst. You will run out of tonics very quickly. What Catalyst does is it increases your tonic effect by an astonishing 60%, 10% for each stack of Catalyst you have. So at plus 6, it's plus 60% tonic effectiveness, plus 60% duration. So your tonics will last 60% longer, and they'll be 60% more effective. Meaning that they'll be stronger. The effect of the tonic will be stronger. Sorry. The tonics you're going to use majority of the time are Aether Drive, Frenzy, and Blitz. Now, with that out of the way, let's look into Impulse. Gain 10% increased move speed. Critical hit damage is increased by 10% for every 5% increased movement speed, benefiting from up to 50% increased movement speed. So, what this means is, just having Impulse at plus 6 gives you 20% crit damage, because it's 10% movement speed base, and for every 5% movement speed you have, you get 10% crit damage. So, if you have 50% movement speed, that would give you 100% increase. I want to say 100 or 200% increased crit damage. Anywhere in there, my math could be wrong. Someone in the comments, please fact check me on that and get back to me, and I will make sure to correct myself. But I want to say it's anywhere from 100 to 200% crit damage base. Now, Predator. This is another cell I recommended. Very high risk, high reward. After not taking hostile damage for 15 seconds, deal 35% damage bonus lost when hit at plus 6. So, hostile damage, fire, ice, trails from the little snail guys, fauna, like spitters, bombers, and Styxians. Things like that. Umbral instability. AoE procs from different behemoths. Things like that. Things that can hurt you. Those are hostile damage procs. Fire does not cause you to lose Predator. Neither does Revenant, because they are not hostile damage sources. So, with all of that being said and done, I appreciate all of you for looking into the video. I just thought this would be a little bit of nice information to drop on you guys, just so you guys can fully grasp and understand some of the more important cells that you guys need to grind and get. Because I see a lot of people concerned with like what cells and what armor pieces they should go for first. So again, if you're leveling, go for Shock and Frost because they are very good for that, very effective, and they are very good at what they do. One is better for damage, the other one's good for survivability, but you could also build it for damage. And just as a little side note, for my people that want to go Blast Cannon, let's just say you're in the mid game and you want to just do damage, this is your best friend right here. Shroud Bomb. While under 20% health, deal 50% damage. Your best friend. This is one of the strongest unique effects in the game. Very, very strong. Very much worthwhile in investing. Now, I appreciate everyone who tapped into the video. Make sure to leave a like and a comment below. Subscribe if you haven't already. And hit the notification bell so you get a notification for every time that I upload, whether they're short and sweet videos or in-depth guides and tutorials like this video here. If you have any questions, feel free to come by the Twitch channel when I'm live and ask your questions, or drop them in the comments below and I'll respond to them as soon as I can. I appreciate all of you for loving this video, checking it out, watching, and with that being said, I wish all of you a good afternoon, a good evening, and good night.